याहरा प्रसादे भाई बवतरिया या याहरा प्रसादे कृष्ण प्राप्ति होया होते कृष्ण प्राप्ति हो यहाँ होते गुरुमुखा पद्मवाक्य चिते करिया है क्या गुरु गुरुमुखा पद्मवाक्य चिते करिया है क्या हरि न करी हो मने आशा हार ना करी हो मने आशा श्री गुरु चरणे रति ऐसे उत्तम गति श्री गुरु चरणे रति ऐसे उत्तम गति ये प्रसादे पूरे सर्व आशा ये प्रसादे पूरे सर्व आशा दान मिलो ये जन्म जन्म में प्रभु से को दान दिलो ये जन्म जन्म में प्रभु से दिव्य ज्ञान हृदय प्रकाशित दिव्य ज्ञान हृदय प्रकाशित प्रेम भक्ति यहाँ होते अविद्या विनाशा जाते प्रेम भक्ति यहाँ होते अविद्या विनाश जाते वेद गाय यहाँ रचरित वेद गाय यहाँ रचरित गुरु करुणा सिंधु अधम जनार बंधु हे गुरु करुणा सिंधु अधम जनार बंधु हे लोके नाथ लोकेरा जीवाना लोके नाथ लोकेरा जीवाना प्रभु करो दया देहो मोरी पद छया आहा प्रभु करो दया देहो मोरी पद छया एबे आज शक्ति भुवना एबे आज शक्ति भुवना उपापति तपावाना गुरु करुणा सिंधु आदम जनारा बंधु गुरु करुणा सिंधु आदम जनारा बंधु लोके नाथ लोकेरा जीवना प्रभु करो दया देहो मोरी पद छया दिव्य आजुक शक्ति भुवना जय प्रभु पदा शिल प्रभु पदा जय प्रभुपाद जय प्रभुपाद नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्ण पृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांता स्वामी निति नामिने नमो विष्णुपदाय सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे नमस्ते जय प्रभुपदा शिल प्रभुपदा जय प्रभुपदा शिल प्रभुपदा जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य नित्यानंद गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंदा जय श्री कृष्ण Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Rama, Rama Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Rama, Rama Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Rama, Rama Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama, Hare Ram, Ram Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama, Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Jayo Radha Parthasarthi, Radha Parthasarthi, Radhe. Jayo Gauranitai, Gauranitai, Shri Jayo Sitaram Lakshmana Hanuman, Sitaram Lakshmana Hanuman, Prabhupada, Guru Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Guru Hari Bol. जय विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर शास्त्री श्रीमधीश डिवाइन ग्रेस अभय चरणारविंद भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी श्रील प्रभुपाद की नेत लीला प्रविष्ट इस्कॉन फाउंडर आचार्य सेवियर ऑफ द होल वर्ल्ड श्रील प्रभुपाद की नामाचार्य हरिदास ठाकुर की प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद की श्री श्री राधा पार्थसारथी ललिता विशाखा गोप गोपिका श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन की श्री श्री गौरताई की श्री श्री सीताराम लक्ष्मण हनुमान की समवेत भक्त वृंद की अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की इस्कॉन वर्तमानाचार्य वृंद की गौर प्रेमानंदे all glories to assembled devotees, all glories to assembled devotees, all glories to assembled devotees, all glories to Sri Guru and Gauranga. हरे कृष्णा। सब लोग मेरे साथ पढ़ें। हमारे गुरुदेव के चरण कमल ही एकमात्र साधन है जिनके द्वारा हम शुद्ध भक्ति प्राप्त कर सकते हैं। मैं उनके चरण कमलों में अत्यंत भक्ति एवं श्रद्धा पूर्वक नतमस्तक होता हूँ। उनकी कृपा से जीव भौतिक क्लेशों के महासागर को पार कर सकता है तथा कृष्ण की कृपा प्राप्त कर सकता है। मेरी एकमात्र इच्छा है कि उनके मुख कमल से निकले हुए शब्दों द्वारा अपने चेतना को शुद्ध करूं। उनके चरण कमलों में अनुराग ऐसी सिद्धि है जो समस्त मनोरथों को पूर्ण करती है। वे मेरी बंद आँखों को खोलते हैं तथा मेरे हृदय में दिव्य ज्ञान भरते हैं। जन्म जन्मांतरों में वे मेरे प्रभु हैं। वे प्रेमा भक्ति प्रदान करते हैं और अविद्या का नाश करते हैं। वैदिक शास्त्र उनके चरित्र का गान करते हैं। हे गुरुदेव, हे प्रभुपाद, करुणा सिंधु तथा पतितात्माओं के मित्र, आप सबके गुरु एवं सभी लोगों के जीवन हैं। हे गुरुदेव, हे प्रभुपाद, मुझ पर दया कीजिए तथा मुझे अपने श्री चरणों की छाया प्रदान कीजिए। आपका यश तीनों लोकों में फैला हुआ है। श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय।
Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna Krishna, Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama, Hare 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 Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Prabhupada Jaya, Prabhupada Jaya, Prabhupada Jaya, Prabhupada. Vishnupad Paramamsa Parivajikachaya Stutara Shakta Shri Srimad His Divine Grace Shilesi Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Ki Jai Shri Shri Gauranitai Ki Jai Gaura Premanandi Hari Bol Hare Krishna. I have a book. Today I was asked to read about the childhood pastimes of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And it's a very deep, very many numerable pastimes. And today, because this is only a very short class, I thought that I would read today from Srila Prabhupada's introduction to Srimad Bhagavatam. So I'll say a little bit more about that in a few minutes here. But this is actually printed in India, I think like 30 years ago. So you're looking at history right here. This is, where was it printed? Oh no, this isn't printed in India. This is printed in Hong Kong, and the address is given for an Australian address, so this is really historical. Does it even say when it was printed? 1985. 1985, you're looking at history here. Almost 40 years ago. Hare Krishna. Om Aginantamanandasya Ginanjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Karamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Paragamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagajatam Sahagana Raghunatan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Paran Sahagana Lalita Shiva Shatandamscha Sindho Dinabando Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Damostate Jaya Ramchana Porangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Janchakalpatariyuscha Kripasanubhye Vacha Paditanam Pavanibhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaura Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna. So I'm going to read from the introduction of the Srila Prabhupada's introduction to Srimad Bhagavatam. Actually, this is one of my personal favorites, his introduction. Just a note about why Srila Prabhupada placed this here. This summary of the pastimes of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Srimad Bhagavatam, because when Srila Prabhupada came to the West, actually even before he came to the West, he wrote this introduction because he didn't know. He was an old man. Old man means one who's, one's life is almost over. So if I never get a chance to write at length about the pastimes of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, let me put them here in summary form. And actually, Srila Krishna Das Kaviraj himself also used the same strategy, because he was also very old when he was asked to write the Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. So, therefore, therefore we see that when he speaks about these pastimes, he gives just the summaries. And his later pastimes, especially which he was asked to write about, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's later pastimes, he gives them all in a summary form in like the first 1 or 2 chapters. So Srila Prabhupada's doing the same thing here. It's part of our tradition. You can also call it kind of like an executive summary. But there's more. But in particular, Srila Prabhupada wanted to write this so that in case he passed away untimely, that at least this would be given. A short sketch of the life and teachings of Lord Chaitanya, the preacher of Srimad Bhagavatam. The Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the great apostle of love of God and father of the congregational chanting of the holy name of the Lord, invented himself at Sridham Mayapur, a quarter in the city of Navadvip in Bengal, on the Palguni Purnima evening in the year 1407, Shakabda, corresponding to February 1486 by the Christian calendar. His father, Sri Jagannath Mishra, a learned Brahmana from the district of Sylhet, came to Navadvip as a student because at that time Navadvip was considered to be the center of education and culture. He domiciled on the banks of the Ganges after marrying Srimati Shachi Devi, a daughter of Srila Nilambara Chakravarti, the great learned scholar of Navadvip. Jagannath Mishra had a number of daughters by his wife. Srimati Shachi Devi, and most of them expired at an early age. 2 surviving sons, Sri Vishwarupa and Vishwambara, became at last the object of their paternal affection. The 10th and youngest son, who was named Vishwambara, later became known as Nimai Pandit, and then, after accepting the renounced order of life, Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu exhibited his transcendental activities for 48 years and then disappeared in the year 1455, Shakabda, at Puri. For his first 24 years, he remained at Navadvip as a student and householder. His first wife was Srimati Lakshmi Priya, who died at an early age when the Lord was away from home. When he returned from East Bengal, he was requested by his mother to accept a second wife, and he agreed. His second wife was Srimati Vishnu Priya Devi, who bore the separation of the Lord throughout her life because the Lord took the order of sannyas at the age of 24, when Srimati Vishnu Priya was barely 16 years old. After taking sannyas, the Lord made his headquarters at Jagannath Puri due to the request of his mother, Srimati Shachi Devi. The Lord remained for 24 years at Puri. For 6 years of this time, he traveled continuously all over India, and especially throughout southern India, preaching the Srimad Bhagavatam. Lord Chaitanya not only preached Srimad Bhagavatam, but propagated the teachings of the Bhagavad Gita as well in the most practical way. In the Bhagavad Gita, Lord Sri Krishna is depicted as the absolute personality of Godhead. And his last teachings in that great book of transcendental knowledge instruct that one should give up all modes of religious activities and accept him, Lord Krishna, as the only worshipable Lord. The Lord then assured that all his devotees would be protected from all sorts of sinful acts, and that for them there would be no cause of anxiety. So I just want to make a few comments here. So again, Srila Prabhupada is giving the whole life of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in summary form. And one of the other reasons that Srila Prabhupada included a brief summary of the life and teachings of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is that in order to understand Bhagavatam, one has to learn from the person Bhagavata. And so the Supreme Personality of Godhead himself is incarnated as a devotee. He is both, he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And so, just like, for example, if you're giving a lesson and someone is doing poorly, then the teacher himself will come and show by example that, he will start writing ABC or speaking ABC and so forth like that. So this is part of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mission. And in order to establish that this is indeed the Lord's mission, the Lord's pastimes and activities are understood in the light of the Shastras, the Vedic literature, Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, Vedas, Puranas, Pancharatras, and so forth. So about 5-6 years ago, when I was just coming here to India, so first thing I attended a conference here at the Jawaharlal Nehru University. It was a Veda and Science conference. So while I was there, I was talking with one of the students. There's a Sanskrit, special school of Sanskrit, and so I asked him, I said, what is so special about Valmiki Ramayana? And he said, why is this so special above all other versions of Ramayana? And his answer was that because this is the only version that is compatible with Vedas, that is fully compatible with Vedas. So, there are many versions of Ramayana, but only the Valmiki Ramayana is at this standard. So in the same way, that the pastimes of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, that these are completely authorized. And therefore, Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, when he set out to describe the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya, he didn't just jump into it. He didn't say, well, he's born this time and then he had this. But there's this whole section in the Adi Lila about the gurus, about the Nityananda, Advaita, the different tattvas, and so forth like that. In fact, he begins his treatise on Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Vande Guru Nisha Bhaktani Shamisha Avatarakan Tat Prakasham Stachat Shakti Krishna Chaitanya Samyukam. So he talks about 6 tattvas, 6 truths. And then he systematically proceeds to explain each of these according to the revealed Shastras. So, in the same way, following in this tradition, Srila Prabhupada is also explaining, showing that the pastimes of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu are completely authorized and fully in line with the Vedic literature. So it is important for us to grasp this point or understand this point. Otherwise, we will misunderstand who is the Lord and what his mission is. So, continuing. Unfortunately, despite Lord Sri Krishna's direct order and the teachings of the Bhagavad Gita, less intelligent people misunderstand him to be nothing but a great historical personality, and thus they cannot accept him as the original personality of Godhead. Such men with a poor fund of knowledge are misled by many non-devotees. Thus the teachings of Bhagavad Gita are misinterpreted even by great scholars. So Srila Prabhupada is explaining further that how even Krishna himself speaks and gives something, still he's liable to be misunderstood. And the source of this misunderstanding he gives here is that he mentions that such a person, when the non-devotees try to explain the Krishna's message, they give some other idea that's according to their non-devotional mood. So therefore, the qualification of someone who can actually know Krishna in truth, or can begin to know Krishna in truth, is that he must be a devotee in a friendly relationship with the Lord. So Krishna says, he tells Arjuna that I'm giving you this secret because you're my devotee and my friend. And you can therefore understand this. Saivayam maya tedya yoga prokta puratanaha bhaktosi me sakachiti rahasyam hi etaduttamam. So because he's a friend and a devotee. There are people who have relationship with Krishna also, but they're not friendly. Like Dantavakra, Duryodhana, and so forth. They're actually envious of Krishna. They also have relationship with Krishna. Shishupal, he also had relationship with Krishna, but it was pratikul, not anukul. It was unfavorable. So even such great people, if they're envious of Krishna, and if you're living in the material world, by default, you're envious. That's why you're here. It's like why we come into the jail. When we come into the jail, it's because of some offense, some envy of the laws, some contempt of the order of the Lord or the order of the government. So thus the teachings of Bhagavad Gita are misinterpreted by even by great scholars. After the disappearance of Lord Sri Krishna, there were hundreds of commentaries on the Bhagavad Gita by many erudite scholars, and almost every one of them was motivated by self-interest. This is very important, self-interest. So if there's some self-interest, then we're going to sell our own idea on the name of Krishna. So therefore, it's very important that one be pure in his thought, in his habit, sadhana, in his dealings, and so forth. So if one has some self-interest, some interest besides that of the Lord, then one is always, well, first of all, one is always unhappy. But because there's nothing but the interest of the Lord, therefore having some self-interest is therefore to be misled, to be in maya, to be in illusion. So those who comment on, so the proper person who can comment on the pastimes of the Lord has to be a Vaishnava. And not just any Vaishnava, but he has to be a pure Vaishnava. Otherwise, one is not really fit to do this. Even in the Dharma Shastras, Lord Manu says, Smriti Shile Chatadvidam. So Smriti Shila, to have that quality of being, not having this self-interest. Your only interest is to speak Dharma. So according to the Dharma Shastras, that only one who is fit to write smriti is one who is pure and learned. Smriti chatad vidam. But this quality of being shila, being pure, that's non-negotiable. So Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the self-same Lord Krishna. This time, however, he appeared as a great devotee of the Lord in order to preach to the people in general, as well as to religionists and philosophers, about the transcendental position of Sri Krishna, the primeval Lord and the cause of all causes. So, before we get to read something about Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pastimes, Srila Prabhupada here is explaining what is the purpose of the Lord in appearing as his own devotee. So, he appeared as a great devotee of the Lord in order to preach to the people in general. So this is our mission. This is Iskcon's mission, is it not? To preach to the people in general. It's like everybody, especially in particular those who have taken a human form of life, that they have a wonderful chance to hear about Krishna and give up this useless life of sense gratification and go back to the spiritual world. It's amazing, isn't it? Why it's so hard. But it's so hard. So therefore preaching is a necessity. You know, the world is a place where people have come to forget Krishna. So he says, so one of the purposes of the Lord is to preach to the people in general, as well as to religionists and philosophers about the transcendental position of Krishna, the primeval Lord and the cause of all causes. So, different people have different ideas about what the world is for. So the people in general are called karmis. So karmis are interested in sense enjoyment, generally some sort of gross sense enjoyment, some sort of material contact of the senses with the objects, or some fame or position in society, some money, and so forth. So this is the people in general. So Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's process with Sankirtan, Harinam Sankirtan, is so nice and wonderful that people, even the karmis, can appreciate. That even they can take this up. Very simple process. Simply chant Hare Krishna, dance, chant, take nice Mahaprasadam, and become purified. This is the process. This is the Yuga Dharma for this age. So he also mentions the religionists and philosophers. So the religionists and philosophers, they're not so interested in the chanting, dancing, and so forth. They're more interested in philosophy and actually getting to know God. They're religionists, so they take up religion because they do want to know something. They take Krishna. They take the idea of religion and God more seriously. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also appeared for their benefit as well. So therefore, Srila Prabhupada, as signified by Srila Prabhupada's own title, Bhakti Vedanta. So everyone can take up the path of bhakti. But the only condition is that it should be taken up in an authorized way. And so the bhakti is performed according to Vedanta, according to the Vedic literature, not in some other way. And then there's the transcendental position of Sri Krishna. So when we read these pastimes of the Lord, that the childhood pastimes or any of his pastimes, we should first understand that they are transcendental, that they are not mundane. Just like there are so many stories about mundane children, boys, girls, and so forth like that. So when one's consciousness is absorbed in those pastimes or those stories, one further contaminates his consciousness. But when one hears about the transcendental pastimes of the Lord, those are something very different. So, by hearing those pastimes, one can get out of the material consciousness. One can actually get liberation and eternal service at the lotus feet of the Lord eventually. So the essence of his preaching is that Lord Krishna, who appeared at Vrajabhumi as the son of the king of Vraj, Nanda Maharaj, is the supreme personality of Godhead and is therefore worshipable by all. Vrindavan Dham is non-different from the Lord because the name, fame, form, and place where the Lord manifests himself are all identical with the Lord as absolute knowledge. Therefore, Vrindavan Dham is as worshipable as the Lord. The highest form of transcendental worship of the Lord is exhibited by the damsels of Vrajabhumi in the form of pure affection for the Lord. And Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu recommends this process as the most excellent mode of worship. He accepts the Srimad Bhagavata Purana as the spotless literature for understanding the Lord, and he preaches that the ultimate goal of life for all human beings is to attain the stage of prema, or love of God. So it is important for us to hear first about the position of the Lord before we can appreciate him. Just like, for example, if somebody unknown comes in and sits among us, we may not treat him properly, or we may not treat him as an ordinary person. But if, say, like Narendra Modi were to come and sit among us, and if someone understood, oh, this is Narendra Modi, then, give him a proper respect and so forth like that. Then we can appreciate him and derive the benefit from him. Oh, great Narendra Modi, our town, our city can do with a donation. So an ordinary person can't help us like that. So in the same way, to derive the proper benefit from hearing the pastimes of the Lord, one should first hear what is the Lord's position. Therefore, Srimad Bhagavatam, before Shukadev Goswami described the direct pastimes of the Lord, he also described the various different aspects of the Lord in the previous 9 cantos of this book. So, many devotees of Lord Chaitanya, like Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur, Sri Lochana Das Thakur, Srila Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami, Sri Sanatan Goswami, Sri Raghunath Bhatta Goswami, Sri Jiva Goswami, Sri Gopala Bhatta Goswami, Sri Raghunath Das Goswami, and in this later age, within 200 years, Sri Vishwanath Chakravarti, Sri Baladev Vidyabhushana, Sri Shyamananda Goswami, Sri Narottama Das Thakur, Sri Bhaktivinoda Thakur, and at last Sri Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, our spiritual master, and many other great and renowned scholars and devotees of the Lord have prepared voluminous books and literatures on the life and precepts of the Lord. Such literatures are all based on the Shastras, like the Vedas, Puranas, Upanishads, Ramayana, Mahabharata, and other histories and authentic literatures approved by the recognized acharyas. They are unique in composition and unrivaled in presentation, and they are full of transcendental knowledge. Unfortunately, the people of the world are still ignorant of them. But when these literatures, which are mostly in Sanskrit and Bengali, come to light the world, and when they are presented before thinking people, then India's glory and the message of love will overflood this morbid world, which is vainly searching after peace and prosperity by various illusory methods not approved by the acharyas in the chain of the disciplic succession. The readers of this small description of the life and precepts of Lord Chaitanya will profit much to go through the books of Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur, of Sri Chaitanya Bhagavad, and Srila Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami, Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. The early life of the Lord is most fascinatingly expressed by the author of Chaitanya Bhagavata, and as far as the teachings are concerned, they are more vividly explained in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. Now they are available to the English-speaking public in our teachings of Lord Chaitanya. The Lord's early life was recorded by one of his chief devotees and contemporaries, namely Srila Murari Gupta, a medical practitioner of that time, and the later part of the life of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu recorded by his private secretary, Sri Damodar Goswami, or Srila Sarup Damodara, who is practically a constant companion of the Lord at Puri. These two devotees recorded practically all the incidents of the Lord at Puri. No, these two devotees recorded practically all of the incidents of the Lord's activities, and later on all the books dealing with the Lord, which are above mentioned, were composed on the basis of Kartachas, notebooks by the Srila Damodar Goswami and Murari Gupta. So the Lord advented himself on the Palguni Purnima evening of 1407 Shakabda, and it was by the will of the Lord that there was a lunar eclipse on that evening. During the hours of eclipse, it was the custom of the Hindu public to take bath in the Ganges or any other sacred river and chant the Vedic mantras for purification. When Lord Chaitanya was born during the lunar eclipse, all India was roaring with the holy sound of Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. These 16 names of the Lord are mentioned in many Puranas and Upanishads, and they are described as the Taraka Brahma Nama of this age. It is recommended in the Shastras that offenseless chanting of these holy names of the Lord can deliver a fallen soul from material bondage. There are innumerable names of the Lord both in India and outside, and all of them are equally good because all of them indicate the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But because these 16 are especially recommended for this age, people should take advantage of them and follow the path of the great acharyas who attained success by practicing the rules of the Shastras. The simultaneous occurrence of the Lord's appearance and the lunar eclipse indicated the distinctive mission of the Lord. The mission was to preach the importance of chanting the holy name of the Lord in this age of Kali. In this present age, quarrels take place even over trifles, and therefore the Shastras have recommended for this age a common platform for realization, namely chanting the holy names of the Lord. People can hold meetings to glorify the Lord in their respective languages and with melodious songs, and if such performances are executed in an offenseless manner, it is certain that the participants will gradually gain spiritual perfection without having to undergo more rigorous methods. At such meetings, everyone, the learned, the foolish, the rich and the poor, the Hindus and the Muslims, the Englishmen and the Indians, and the Chandalas and the Brahmanas can all hear the transcendental sounds and thus cleanse the dust of material contamination, of dust of material association, the mirror of the heart. To confirm the Lord's mission, all the people of the world will accept the holy name of the Lord as the common platform for the universal religion of mankind. In other words, the advent of the holy name took place along with the advent of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So, we'll continue now with the pastimes. Srila Prabhupada's now going to narrate some of the pastimes of the childhood pastimes of the Lord. When the Lord was on the lap of his mother, he would at once stop crying as soon as the ladies surrounding him chanted the holy names and clapped their hands. So they must have been doing something like this. Lord Chaitanya was crying, and they go, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And then when they do this, then the Lord would, then he would stop crying. And then when the ladies would stop it, then the Lord would cry again, and then there's, oh, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So this is the Lord's mission. So even just as an ordinary little baby, he's getting everybody to chant Hare Krishna. Also, important to note is that this was the custom in the house, that the ladies are accustomed to chanting the holy name of the Lord, so that when the baby's crying, they knew what to do. So therefore, we see that Shuchinam Srimatam Gehe Yoga Brashto Bhajayate, that highly elevated persons, even great personalities, they also take birth in great families. So this is the standard of a very high birth, a birth of transcendentalists, is that from the very beginning of life, such a person gets to learn about the Lord. So, this peculiar incident was observed by the neighbors with awe and veneration. So, the neighbors, they saw this incident with awe and veneration because they also knew, isn't it? So, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took birth in a very highly elevated family. Jagannath Mishra and his wife Shachi Mata, all very highly elevated, learned brahmanas. So they live in a community of also similarly learned brahmanas, elevated. So when they saw this, they can understand that this is not ordinary. They said that, whoa, this is special. They could understand that this is a very wonderful thing. So a part of our mission is to create this kind of atmosphere. So especially the householders, especially the young men, women, etc., who are getting married, that as far as possible, try to create this atmosphere. Remember the Lord, that this is how the Lord appeared. He appeared in these families, and to make such an atmosphere, then surely a wonderful child will come to that atmosphere. So, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mission is all-pervasive, comprehensive, that along with the Lord, Krishna Varnam Tvisha Krishnam Sango Pangastra Parshadam Yagyai Sankirtana Prayar Yajantihi Sumeda Saha. So when a king comes, he comes with his whole retinue. He comes with his secret service. He comes with his ministers. He comes with his all his attendants and so forth like that. So when the Lord himself comes, he brings. So when the holy name comes, everything is present. Yatra Yogeshvara Krishna, Yatra Parthu Danur Dara, Tatra Shir Vijayo Bhutir, Dhruva Nittir Matir Mama. So wherever there is Krishna, wherever there's Krishna, the master of all yoga, and wherever there is Arjuna, the supreme archer, there will surely be Aishvarya, there will surely be opulence, Aishvarya, victory, Alokik Shakti, the uncommon power, and morality. And Sanjay says, this is my opinion. So in the Lord in his very childhood pastimes, we're seeing this, all these things come together. You know, the opulence, mystic power, and people are awed with this. Sometimes the young girls took pleasure in making the Lord cry and then stopping him by chanting the holy name. Sometimes it's like that. Sometimes you make the child cry, you tease the child, make him cry, and then they'd stop it. So from his very childhood, the Lord began to preach the importance of the holy name. In his early age, Lord Sri Chaitanya was known as Nimai. The name was given by his beloved mother because the Lord took his birth beneath a nimba tree in the courtyard of his paternal house. When the Lord was offered solid food at the age of 6 months, in the Anna Prashana ceremony, the Lord indicated his future activities. At this time, it was customary to offer the child both coins and books in order to get some indication of the future tendencies of the child. The Lord was offered on one side coins and on the other side the Srimad Bhagavatam. The Lord accepted the Bhagavatam instead of the coins. So, another point to note here. Question: is this Vedic? We talk about Vedic culture. So what about this is Vedic? Even this ceremony, you know, you put a book on one side and coins on the other side. What Shastra is it from? How do we know it's Vedic? It's Vedic because the Shishtas, or the great Acharyas and purified learned people, have accepted it as such. Therefore it's Vedic. So Lord Manu, Lord Yogi, and Yajnavalkya, the great sage Yajnavalkya, they give four or five sources of knowledge of Dharma. This is Vedo Kilo Dharma Moolam, Shruti Smriti Shile Chatadvidam, Acharas Chaiva Sadhunam, Atmanas Tushtireva Cha. So acharas, so just the behavior of the sadhus, one can understand the saintly person, what is dharma and what is adharma, just by their behavior. So it's a source of a knowledge of a dharma. So therefore, these customs are not ordinary customs, these are Vedic customs. And therefore, simply by hearing of them and maintaining them and preserving them in society, this is the propagation, this is the further propagation of the Krishna consciousness. So these pastimes are not ordinary pastimes. Otherwise, if they are ordinary, one could not be purified. We're just hearing that Lord Chaitanya, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, in his Anna Prashana ceremony, is also doing this other ceremony? Does he choose Bhagavatam? Does he choose coins? And just by hearing about that, we become purified. How could we become purified if this were an ordinary activity? It's not mundane. This is Vedic culture. So when he was a mere baby, when Lord Chaitanya, the Lord, was a mere baby crawling in the yard, one day a snake appeared before him, and the Lord began to play with it. All the members of the house were struck with fear and awe, but after a little while, the snake went away, and the baby was taken away by his mother. Once he was stolen by a thief who intended to steal his ornaments, but the Lord took a pleasure trip on the shoulder of the bewildered thief, who was searching for a solitary place in order to rob the baby. It so happened that the thief, wandering hither and thither, finally arrived just before the house of Jagannath Mishra, and being afraid of being caught, dropped the baby at once. Of course, the anxious parents and relatives were glad to see the lost child. So the Lord is the supreme controller. Everybody acts according to his direction. And another important point to note here is that when the Lord decides to act, comes to this world and act, this is his Leela. He is not bound by karma. It is by his pleasure that he wants to do anything. And so therefore, we're showing him is that the Lord, he wanted to just take a ride. So here's a thief. I want to take a ride on this thief. So he's going around and everything. And his parents, and of course, are in anxiety. But this is just like, this is increasing their love for the Lord. So this is how the Lord Chaitanya, how he's expanding the pleasure of the devotees, how he's enjoying his pastimes in this world, and so forth. Once a pilgrim, Brahmana, was received at the home of Jagannath Mishra, and when he was offering food to the Godhead, the Lord appeared before him and partook of the prepared food. The eatables had to be rejected because the child touched them, and so the Brahmana had to make another preparation. The next time the same thing happened, and when this happened repeatedly for the third time, the baby was finally put to bed. At about 12 at night, when all the members of the home were fast asleep within their closed rooms, the pilgrim Brahmana offered his specially prepared foods to the deity, and in the same way the baby Lord appeared before the pilgrim and spoiled his offerings. The Brahmana then began to cry. See, he was such a devoted thing. He wanted to offer the Lord, but kept being spoiled and spoiled and spoiled. But since everyone was fast asleep, no one could hear him. At the time, the baby Lord appeared before the fortunate Brahmana and disclosed his identity as Krishna himself. The Brahmana was forbidden to disclose this incident, and the baby returned to the lap of his mother. So this is how fortunate, this is how great a person. The Lord reveals himself to such devotees, that they're just so devoted. And you see, he's just an ordinary person. He's just worshiping his deities. You see so many people, that we have their deities. But to be this devoted to the Lord, the Lord is purchased by such affection, by such devotion. Bhaktya mam abhijanati yavanyas chasmi tatvataha. Only by bhakti, only by love and devotion, one can see the Lord. Premanjana tridita bhakti vilochanena santa saraiva hridayeshu vilokayanti. That only by this Lord, only by this prema. So here, the Lord himself is teaching by his example how one can come to, and the devotees who are a part of the pastimes are also showing by their example. Krishna comes with his devotees, so they show. There are many similar incidents in his childhood. As a naughty boy, he sometimes used to tease the orthodox brahmanas who used to bathe in the Ganges. When the Brahmanas complained to his father that he was splashing them with water instead of attending school, the Lord suddenly appeared before his father as though just coming from school with all his school clothes and books. So if you're God, if you're Krishna, you can do things like that. That's the difference between Krishna and us. That when we're naughty, we're really naughty. When he's naughty, that's a very wonderful thing. So at the bathing ghat, he also used to play jokes on the neighboring girls who engaged in worshipping Shiva in hopes of getting good husbands. This is a common practice among unmarried girls in Hindu families. While they're engaged in such worship, the Lord naughtily appeared before them and said, "My dear sisters, please give me all the offerings you have just brought for Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva is my devotee and Parvati is my maidservant. If you worship me, then Lord Shiva and all the other demigods will be more satisfied." Some of them refused to obey the naughty Lord, and he would curse them that due to their refusal they would be married to old men who had 7 children by their previous wives. Out of fear and sometimes out of love, the girls would also offer him various goods, and then the Lord would bless them and assure them that they would have very good young husbands and that they would be mothers of dozens of children. The blessings would enliven the girls, but they used to often complain of these incidents to their mothers. So just see the Lord. Just see. Ishvaranam vachah satyam tataiva charitam kvachit. So, Ishvaranam vachah satyam. So, whatever the Lord, the great Ishvara speak is always true. So even the Lord is being naughty, he's speaking the truth, the absolute truth. Isn't this wonderful? And even though these young girls will be tormented, still they loved him for it. In this way, the Lord passed his early childhood. When he was just 16 years old, he started his own Chatushpati, a village school conducted by a learned Brahmana. In this school, he would simply explain Krishna, even in readings of grammar. Srila Jiva Goswami, in order to please the Lord, later composed a grammar in Sanskrit, in which all the rules of grammar were explained with examples that used the holy names of the Lord. This grammar is still current. It is known as Harinamamrita Vyakarana and is prescribed in the syllabus of schools in Bengal. During this time, a great Kashmir scholar named Keshava Kashmiri came to Navadvip to hold discussions on the Shastras. The Kashmir Pandit was a champion scholar, and he had traveled to all places of learning in India. Finally, he came to Navadvip to contest the learned Panditas there. The Pandits of Navadvip decided to match Nimai Pandit, Lord Chaitanya, with the Kashmir Pandit, thinking that if Nimai Pandit were defeated, they would have another chance to debate with the scholar, for Nimai Pandit was only a boy. And if the Kashmir Pandit were to proclaim that a mere boy of Navadvip had defeated a champion scholar who was famous throughout India, and if the Kashmir Pandit were defeated, then they would be even more glorified because people would proclaim that a mere boy of Navadvip had defeated a champion scholar who was famous throughout India. It so happened that Nimai Pandit met Keshava Kashmiri while strolling on the banks of the Ganges. Actually, it didn't so happen, but this is according to the will of the Lord. He wanted to meet Keshava Kashmiri on the bank of the Ganges. The Lord requested him to compose a Sanskrit verse in praise of the Ganges, and the Pandit within a short time composed 100 shlokas, reciting the verses like a storm and showing the strength of his vast learning. Nimai Pandit at once memorized all the shlokas without error. He quoted 64th shloka and pointed out certain rhetorical and literary irregularities. It was interesting in this pastime, Keshava Kashmiri, he was astounded that the Lord could memorize all those shlokas. And so then he says, how is it astonishing? Just as just as the Lord has given you the power to recite such wonderful poetry, the Lord has given me the power of a Shrutidar, who can at once memorize anything he has heard. So he quoted the 64th sloka and pointed out certain rhetorical and literary irregularities. He particularly questioned the Pandit's use of the word Bhavani Bhartuhu. He pointed out that the use of this word was redundant. Bhavani means the wife of the Lord Shiva, and who else can be her Bharta or husband? He also pointed out several other discrepancies, and the Kashmir Pandit was struck with wonder. He was astonished that a mere student of grammar could point out the literary mistakes of an erudite scholar. Although this matter was entered prior to any public meeting, the news spread like wildfire all over Navadvip. But finally, Keshava Kashmiri was ordered in a dream by Sarasvati, the goddess of learning, to submit to the Lord, and thus the Kashmir Pandit became a follower of the Lord. So, there are more and more pastimes. So, this is really kind of like the end of the Lord's childhood pastime. So, the next phase, the Lord is going to get married. So the childhood so this is the pastimes of his youth. We're actually talking about the pastimes of his youth. But I would recommend that the next class, whoever gives the next class, they continue reading from this. Because this is a very, very short, very nice summary. And it's one of the very important, perhaps one of the most important things that Srila Prabhupada has written in summary form. So it's almost 9 o'clock here, and this is a good place to stop off. Does anybody have any questions they would like to ask about this? So there's one question right here from a very eager devotee who's almost sitting on my lap.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you very much, Prabhuji. You said Shila is Sheel. Sheel is a not negotiable quality, or so you give some shloka, some reference. What was that, and where is from?
Reference is Manu Samhita. This is 2.6, chapter 2, shloka 6.
Thank you.
Other questions? So, Prabhu, would you like to make any further comments? Prabhu?
हिंदी थैंक यू
हिंदी में बात कीजिए.
थैंक यू, धन्यवाद. तो जो प्रभु जी ने पाठ किया है, ये श्रीमद् भागवत की भूमिका में जो प्रभुपाद ने श्री चैतन्य का संक्षिप्त जीवन चरित्र दिया, उसमें से पाठ किया है. तो पहला बिंदु तो इसमें एक ये है कि चंद्र ग्रहण था. जब भगवान चैतन्य का आविर्भाव हुआ तो चंद्र ग्रहण था, और चंद्र ग्रहण भी कैसा था? पूर्ण चंद्र ग्रहण, पूरा चंद्र ग्रहण था. तो इसकी व्याख्या जो भक्त लोग करते हैं वो इस प्रकार से करते हैं कि जो चंद्रमा है, तो अक्सर तो चंद्र ग्रहण होता है तो पूरा चंद्र ग्रहण नहीं होता, आंशिक चंद्र ग्रहण होता है, पूरा नहीं होता. पूरा चंद्र ग्रहण होता है तो कुछ बहुत ही कम अवसर पर पूरा चंद्र ग्रहण होता है. इस बार पूरा चंद्र ग्रहण हुआ. क्यों पूरा चंद्र ग्रहण हुआ? कि वो जो है इतना लज्जित था जब भगवान चैतन्य का आविर्भाव हुआ कि अब तो ये चंद्रमा जो है आ गया, तो मैं इसको सामने अपना मुंह क्यों दिखाऊं? क्योंकि ये चंद्रमा जो है ये उस अंधकार को दूर करेगा जो कलयुग का अंधकार है, कलयुग का अज्ञान का जो अंधकार है उसको दूर करेगा. मैं तो केवल रात्रि का अंधकार ही दूर करता हूँ, लेकिन कलयुग की रात्रि का जो अंधकार है ये जो है मैं तो दूर नहीं कर सकता. तो ये जो चंद्रमा है ये हमसे करोड़ों गुना ज़्यादा शक्तिशाली है, जो कि कलयुग की रात्रि का, कलयुग की अज्ञान का अंधकार दूर करेगा। इसलिए लज्जित होकर के श्रम के मारे वो छिप गया, पूर्ण चंद्र ग्रहण हो गया। अपना मुंह नहीं दिखाना चाहता, पूरा मुंह उसने ढक लिया। हाँ, तो चंद्र ग्रहण। और फिर चंद्र ग्रहण का विचार उस समय जितना होता था अभी तो नहीं होता है। अभी आजकल की शिक्षा में चंद्र ग्रहण का, सूर्य ग्रहण का कोई विचार नहीं होता, लेकिन पहले बहुत विचार होता था। और पूर्ण चंद्र ग्रहण का बहुत विचार हो, अगर पूरा चंद्र ग्रहण है तो बहुत विचार करते थे। तो उस समय क्या था कि हर व्यक्ति जो है स्नान कार्य में लगा, स्नान कर रहे हैं, सब गंगा में स्नान कर रहे हैं, या कहीं प्रभुपाद पूरे भारत में लोग स्नान कर रहे हैं और स्नान कर रहे हैं, और उनके मुख से हरि नाम निकल रहा है या हरे कृष्ण मंत्र निकल रहा है। जिन्होंने कभी भी नहीं बोला वो भी जो है हरे कृष्ण मंत्र बोल रहे थे। मतलब भगवान ने जब अवतार लिया तो इस हरे कृष्ण महामंत्र के साथ अवतार लिया। तो जो नहीं भी जानते हैं और जो नहीं भी चाहते हैं उनके मुंह से भी निकल रहा था हरि नाम। तो यहाँ पर क्या संकेत है कि भगवान चैतन्य ने जब अवतार लिया तो हरि नाम के साथ अवतार लिया। तो उसी समय जो है ये अवतार हुआ हरि नाम का। तो हरि नाम वैसे तो सामान्य लोग बोलते हैं, नाम तो बोलते हैं, है ना, कोई कृष्ण बोलता है, कोई राम, कोई गोविंद, ऐसे नाम बोलते हैं। हरे कृष्ण मंत्र है तो सामान्य है, ये बात नहीं है कि हर कोई बोले। अभी तो चैतन्य महाप्रभु ने हरे कृष्ण महामंत्र 16 नाम का है वो प्रचार किया, लेकिन यहाँ प्रभुपाद ये बता रहे हैं कि हरे कृष्ण महामंत्र 16 नाम का जो महामंत्र वो सबके मुंह से निकल रहा था। यहाँ तक कि मुसलमान लोग भी जो है ये हरे कृष्ण महामंत्र बोल रहे थे, चाहे वो चढ़ाने के लिए बोल रहे हैं, कि हिंदू लोग बोल रहे हैं तो चढ़ाने के लिए भी मुसलमान लोग कभी बोलते थे। तो सबके मुंह से निकल रहा था हरि नाम महामंत्र। और अद्वैताचार्य ने जब ये देखा तो भगवान का जो है वो रहस्य नहीं समझ सके कि भगवान का अवतार हुआ, लेकिन वो तो ये सोचने लगे अद्वैताचार्य हरिदास ठाकुर के साथ में कि ये जो इतना अधिक लोग जो नाम ले रहे हैं, जो कि कभी नहीं लेते हैं और निंदा भी करते हैं, कीर्तन की भी निंदा करते हैं, वे लोग भी जो है अगर हरि नाम ले रहे हैं तो हमारी तो इच्छा कि ये ऐसा चंद्रग्रहण हमेशा बना रहे, हमेशा ऐसा चंद्रग्रहण बना रहे। क्योंकि भक्तों के लिए बड़ी समस्या थी कि कीर्तन की निंदा करते थे, जो पाखंडी लोग थे कीर्तन की बहुत निंदा करते। लेकिन अभी तो वही सब लोग, वो लोग भी कीर्तन कर रहे हैं। गंगा स्नान करने के लिए जा रहे हैं तो भी कीर्तन करते हुए जा रहे हैं, स्नान करके वापस आ रहे हैं तो भी कीर्तन करते हुए जा रहे हैं। सबके मुंह से जो है कीर्तन निकल रहा था। तो जो है बड़ा आश्चर्य हुआ हरिदास ठाकुर को और अद्वैताचार्य को। तो वो भी जो है नहीं जान पाए, भगवान अगर छिपाएं तो कोई नहीं जान सकता। तो सब भक्त लोग भी नहीं जान पाए कि उनके जो नाथ हैं श्री कृष्ण हैं उनका अवतार हुआ है, लेकिन नाम का अवतार हुआ। तो इस कारण से वो जो है बड़े खुश हो रहे थे। और फिर जो दूसरा इसमें बिंदु है कथा में कि बालक जी जन्म से ही जो है इसने हरि नाम का उच्चारण करवाया सबसे। तो जैसे बालक जन्म हुआ तो जब जन्म लेता है बालक तो वो रोता है, तो वो तो कुछ देखता भी नहीं, सुनता भी नहीं, केवल रोता है। और उसको तकलीफ कितनी होती है कोई नहीं जानता, बालक की तकलीफ कितनी होती है। जब जन्म लेता है तो बालक कितना कष्ट पाता है। तो केवल रोना ही जानता है, या तो माता का स्तन पिएगा या रोएगा या सोएगा, और वो कुछ नहीं, न तो सुनेगा और ना देखेगा। हाँ, उसके अंदर देखने की सुनने की ज़्यादा शक्ति नहीं होती। ये बालक जो है कैसा दिव्य बालक था जन्म से ही। और जब माता ने जन्म दिया तो वहाँ प्रसूति गृह में बच्चियाँ आएंगी या स्त्रियाँ आएंगी, पुरुष नहीं जाएंगे। 27 दिन या जितने भी दिन माता जो है प्रसूति घर में रहती है तो वहाँ पुरुष लोग नहीं जाते हैं, बच्चियाँ जाती हैं, छोटी बच्चियाँ जाती हैं, बड़ी बच्चियाँ जाती हैं, स्त्रियाँ जाती हैं। तो वही जो है जाती हैं और कोई नहीं जाता। तो बच्चियाँ भी जो है बालक को जो है जैसे बालक रोए, और जब बच्चियां जो है मतलब हरे कृष्ण मंत्र बोले, या स्त्रियां हैं, बड़ी स्त्रियां हैं, हरे कृष्ण मंत्र बोले, तो केवल चुप नहीं हो जाता है बल्कि हंसने लगता है। हंसने लगे तो कोई बच्चा हंसता ही नहीं, कहीं जन्म से कोई बच्चा हंसना नहीं जानता, लेकिन बालक तो हंसता भी है ना। तो ये जो है बड़ा आश्चर्य। और प्रभुपाद लिख रहे हैं कि बच्चियां जो है बड़ी बहनों की तरह थी। बड़ी बहन, तो बड़ी बहन जो है अपने छोटे भैया को जैसे तो कभी जो है मतलब रुलाए, तो इस कारण से रुलाती थी कि ये जो है फिर हंसा देंगे। हंसाना तो बड़ा आसान है, इसलिए रुलाती थी, हैं? तो चढ़ा करके रुलाती थी बच्चे को, हैं? क्योंकि जानती थी कि इसको हंसाना तो बहुत आसान है, बस हरे कृष्ण मंत्र बोलो तो हंसेगा, तो इसे रुला करके फिर हंसाती थी। तो इस तरह से उनको जो है एक बड़ा आनंद हो गया। और इस प्रकार से क्या हुआ कि जगन्नाथ मिश्र का जो घर है वो वैकुंठ ही बन गया, कि दिन रात जो है कीर्तन ही हो रहा है उनके यहाँ। और कीर्तन बंद हुआ तो बच्चा जो है रोएगा और कोई बात नहीं सुनेगा, या कोई और दूसरा गीत गाओ, सामाजिक गीत होते हैं कई प्रकार के, फिल्मी गीत होते हैं बहुत से, स्त्री पुरुषों के गीत होते हैं, कोई नहीं सुनना, कुछ भी नहीं सुनना, वो रोएगा ही रोएगा। और कोई चीज़ दो या खिलाओ, ना खाने की चीज़ उसको चाहिए और ना खेलना चाहिए, ना कुछ देखना चाहिए, वो जो है केवल रोता है, केवल रोता है। और हरि नाम केवल लोगे तो केवल बंद नहीं करता रोना, बल्कि हंसने लगता है। और रोने से तुरंत हंसना कितना मतलब कठिन है। रोना चुप हो जाता तो हो जाता है, रोना चुप हो, हंसता तो नहीं कोई एकदम से, वो तो एकदम से हंसता है ये बालक। तो ऐसा संकेत जो है इस बालक का जो है मिला तो जन्म से ही लिया। तो भगवान ने जन्म से हरि नाम का अवतार भी कराया, पूरे भारत में लोग जो है हरि नाम कीर्तन कर रहे हैं। और जो है जब बालक ने जन्म लिया तो जो है सबसे हरि नाम कीर्तन ही जो है बुलवाता है, और कोई काम नहीं है उसका, केवल और कोई काम नहीं। तो ऐसे जो है भगवान के दिव्य चरित्र हैं जो सामान्य व्यक्ति नहीं कर सकता है। हरे कृष्णा। श्री चैतन्य कथामृत महामहोत्सव की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय।
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama